Hi, this is Lance Wilkins, and welcome to this QuickBooks training video. This is the last in our series of new features available in QuickBooks 2011. And so we're going to kind of wrap up this with the best of the rest kind of a list. And I've got about 5 things here I'm going to show you real quick in this last video. The first thing is the addition of a checkbox on the closing date. You should be using the closing date in QuickBooks on a regular basis. Really going to help your accountant and you as well having accurate reports. So we've advocated the use of that for a long time. That preference is available on the accounting menu, company preferences, and when I check this set date password, the new part of this is this checkbox right here that says exclude estimates, sales orders, and purchase orders from the closing date restrictions. So in the past, when you set a closing date, even if there was a sales order or a purchase order or something with a prior date, you could not access that and change it. You could access it, but you could not edit it or change it in any way. And that was a real headache. Those are non-posting documents anyway. It didn't change the numbers. And those things really should have been available to QuickBooks users to be able to do that, but it wasn't. And so this is a great improvement to the closing date feature, allowing access to those documents despite the closing date. So to me, that is one of the bigger improvements in QuickBooks 2011. There is another feature here called the search feature in QuickBooks. Now, off of the edit menu for a very long time, we've had this find feature. Now we also have search. We have both, and I still like the find feature for looking for perhaps a range of data. So I want to find everything between this date and this other date, or I want to find everything between $50 and $100. Something like that works well with the find feature. With search, I can just type in something that I'm looking for. So let's look for the name Christie. And if I search for that, then QuickBooks almost instantly will find all the references to Christie. So Christie Abercrombie is a customer on the customer list. There are a number of jobs to Christie. As you can see those things listed here. And then we'll move into some of the transactions in the file that have to do with Christie. Those that you're looking at towards the bottom of this list are time activities. So weekly timesheets have been created in which her jobs were noted, as that's where the time went. So any invoices, purchase orders, bills, those kinds of things that have her name on it, all are going to show up on this list if we were to continue to scroll down. So the search feature will be another powerful addition to the 2011 program. All right, another improvement is the adjust inventory. So if you have used inventory, you know that you've always been able to adjust the quantities on hand, but the drawback to that process was the form, which listed every inventory item in the file, and you just had to continue to scroll down that list to look for the one or the few items that you might want to adjust. But no longer the case. This is the form now for adjusting quantities of inventory, and you can select your item just like the way you do on any other form. You can select it from that drop-down list. You can start typing and select your item like that, and then you can fill in the new quantity information that will adjust the inventory on hand. That's a real nice addition. It makes that form much easier to use than it has been in the past. You are able to use web email now in QuickBooks 2011. Before, we only had either Intuit's Intuit's email service, or we could use Outlook. Now, if I go to Preferences and click on the Send Forms section, you will see I can set this for webmail as well as those other selections that we've had in the past. And then once I select webmail, then then QuickBooks will help me go through the process of setting that up. I'll have to get some information from my email server, but I can pick Gmail or Yahoo or others and I can set that up to use my web email account rather than Outlook or Intuit's service. All right, one last little thing that I'll show you that has changed in QuickBooks, and actually there are more than this. We don't have any documentation of every change that's been made in QuickBooks 2011. We're just kind of finding them as we go along. I think we've covered all of the significant ones. The last one I'll mention is that now on vendors, so I'm going to pull up the vendor center here, there is not only there's no longer one address. I can have both a remittance address and a ship address. So let's pick CU Electric off of our file here, and I'll double click on that, which will bring up the vendor file. And there you see we have the two addresses. So we have a shipped from address and we have a bill from, or the remittance address. So that was new. We just had one address in the past. Okay, so a couple of little things. Just because they're little doesn't mean they aren't as useful. Some of those are going to be really big for certain people if you use or needed those features. So hope this was helpful to you. And like I say, there are a number of other web videos that we have posted concerning the new features in QuickBooks 2011. I hope you'll check those out, and I hope those are helpful to you. Thanks.